What if I told you one of the boldest K-pop debut songs barely has a verse? That instead of the usual complex structure, it spends an entire minute repeating the same chorus and even chanting la 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 on loop. Sounds risky, right? In a genre where fans expect verses, bridges, and explosive finales, this track dares to throw the rulebook out. So why did Triple S's debut subunit release Generation with this structure? Was it laziness or genius? Let's break it down. Generation was released in October 2022 as the debut of Acid Angel from Asia, the first subunit of Triple S. At its core, the song is about living in today's digital-first culture. Think about it. We live half our lives scrolling, half our lives posing for pictures, and somewhere in between is the real us. That duality shows up in the MV, school halls versus subway dancing, vertical TikTok-style footage versus widescreen reality. Behind the track were producers like El Capitan, Vendors Nano, Maria Marcus, Louise, Frix Fiend, and Jaden John, who's known for weaving lore into Triple S's music. Here's the unusual part. Generation has only one full verse. That's like watching a movie with just one scene of dialogue and then a 10-minute montage. Why do this? First is memorability. The endless chorus is sticky like a jingle you can't stop humming. Lexical repetition, or the repeating words or phrases within a song's lyrics, helps listeners process the lyrics more fluently. Because of this enhanced processing fluency, listeners tend to adopt and like songs with higher repetition more quickly. This strategy deeply relies on repetition as a hook. In fact, the Songwriting Academy emphasizes that repetition is the emotional heart of hit songwriting. The chorus is meant to be the hook everyone remembers. By looping the chorus and chanting la la la, Generation doesn't just repeat words, but it embeds the core identity of the song into your mind. Second reason is mood over story. Instead of telling a long tale, it paints a feeling. That hypnotic loop mirrors how scrolling on social media feels endless, repetitive, addictive, but it pulls you into an emotional space rather than a narrative arc. And lastly, identity. The La 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 chant makes the song instantly recognizable, even to people outside K-pop. It's simple, universal, almost childlike, and that's what makes it bold. After Generation dropped, it became the most unforgettable parts of the song. That simple phrase instantly stuck with listeners, looping in their heads long after the song ended. Fans started associating that playful, catchy hook as the group's signature sound, a kind of vocal stamp that screams, "This is Triple S." And since then, the La 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 has become a recognizable calling card, a musical identity that keeps showing up in their performances and songs. While we're still in the topic of the song, let's discuss the people who worked on it. El Capitan and Vendors built the sound, with sharp brass, bouncy bass, and that addictive hook. Vendors Nano explained the entire production on a video.
이제 만들어지게 했고요. 그다음에 이제 훅을 어느 정도 만들어 놓고 트랙을 쭉 만들어 놓은 상태가 됐죠. 그래서 이제 벌스가 그냥 이런 식으로 트랙을 어느 정도 만들어 놓고 그다음에 이걸 이제 저희가 여기 훅에 있는 멜로디를 가지고 좀 뒤에 더 파색했으면 좋겠다라고 얘기해서 제가 또 이제 외국분 탑라이너 이름 마리아 마크스 그분한테 이제 의뢰를 드렸습니다. 그래가지고 전체적으로 곡이 완성이 됐죠. 훅이 지난 다음에 또 자리가 잡힌 다음에 사실 저희가 가장 또 신경 쓴 부분은 사실 기타거든요. 이 곡은 기타가 펑키한 곡이기 때문에 기타 메인이라 저희 기타를 되게 신경 많이 썼어요. 그래서 그냥 이렇게 쭉 원코드로 그냥 가는 느낌으로 하나 들어가고 계속 이렇게 쭉 쌓고 그 다음에 한 넣고 그 다음에 이제 일렉도 들어가고요. 사운드 넣고 기타 트랙이 진짜 많아요. 보시면 그래서 저희가 기타에 되게 많은 그 시간을 넣어서 전체적으로 이제 되게 곡이 잘 나왔죠. 그래서 한 번 더 들어오면 마지막에 사빌. 네. 그리고 이제 여기서 처음에 약간 심심한 거예요. 그래서 마지막에 이제 그 보면 저희 이제 K-팝의 가장 중요한 지르는 애들이
Jaden Jong's lyrics sealed the deal with direct references to TikTok, tying the track to youth culture itself. Even the choreography by Choi Hyo-jae doubles down on the theme. Simple yet striking moves that look effortless because they're designed to go viral. It's almost like the song was engineered not just for the stage, but for the timeline. Now, here's where it gets divisive. Some fans called it lazy, saying the song was unfinished or just too repetitive. One listener even joked, The song was good up until the 144th la la la. Or I didn't like any of the songs on the album, but they somehow managed to choose the worst song on the album. But others argue that's exactly the point. The repetition mirrors how our generation consumes content. Short, looping, addictive. What looks like simplicity is actually precision. And that's why the chorus stays in your head for days. In the end, generation doesn't break the rules out of carelessness. It breaks them to send a message. One verse, one chorus, one endless loop, just like our online lives, scrolling endlessly in search of meaning. For some, it's frustrating. For others, it's genius. But one thing's clear. It's unforgettable. So next time you hear those la-la-las, ask yourself, is it just a catchy hook? Or the sound of a generation caught between reality and the feed? So why does generation work with just one verse and a full minute of chorus? Because sometimes less really is more. The song flips the traditional blueprint of K-pop on its head, proving that repetition can be power when it's crafted with intent. It's not about how many verses you write. It's about what sticks, what resonates, and what people remember. In a world overflowing with complex production and constant noise, generation reminds us that simplicity can cut through the loudest room. Maybe that's why we keep coming back to it. It feels both familiar and refreshing at the same time. What do you think? Is generation a stroke of genius or just a risky experiment that paid off? Let's talk in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into K-pop's most intriguing songs, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell because there's so much more music left to explore.